So, a viewer from Laverne, I'm going to look at you, Senator Weber, wants an update on Real ID and where that stands. So, can you tell our viewer from Laverne where that's at this session?
Well, the bill that was passed off the Senate floor offered a dual-track system. You could continue to get the driver's license that you're currently getting, and if you were willing to live with the fact that you may not be able to board an airplane, may not be able to gain access to a federal building, whatever the case was. And then if you wanted the Real ID, you could go on to that. It was basically silent as it addressed the issue regarding driver's licenses for illegal aliens, and that is sort of at the crux of the issue here. I think it has been stated by the administration that they don't see that they have the authority under the current law to issue those type of licenses. We think that's correct. And we don't think that there should be those type of regular driver's licenses given, and so I think in the Senate, at least in terms of, I can only speak for my caucus, we're comfortable with the dual track system that we have, and there are obviously differences of opinion within our various caucuses, not just between the caucuses, quite frankly, as relates to that issue. But I do think it needs to be dealt with, and we need to have that solution before the next week is over as well.
Can you tell our viewer where the process is at? There's a Senate bill and a House bill. Is it conference committee status, or is that where it's at?
Yes, that would be correct. That would be correct.
Representative Johnson, your thoughts on this?
It's time to get that a clean Real ID bill to the governor as soon as possible. It's going to take time to get those Real IDs in our pockets, and the deadline's next January. That's a huge task for the state, and it's really time to get that done. And I get discouraged sometimes when issues get attached on to a real simple approach. I believe the vote in the Senate was 60-7. That shows, Senate, in this case, I think is the wiser body on it. I think they've chosen to go with what we call a clean Real ID, and boy, it'd be nice to see that bill on the floor early next week, get that to the governor so we can start working on it. It's not only getting on an airplane, it's also getting into federal buildings and military facilities. And I'll tell you, I do not like it when I hear from constituents of mine that went to visit their son in an air base and cannot get on the air base because they have a Minnesota license. That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for us, but it's just fundamentally wrong. And we've kind of waited too long on this. I hope we can get this done real soon next week. It's important to do.
Representative Howell?
Well, I know part of the discussion that we have is in the House proposal. The thing is what we're doing is taking what's current law by rule and sticking it into statute. So the next time it does happen, it has to happen by the legislature. That's the discussion that we're having. And I believe that the governor does have that possibility, because up until 2003, the undocumented folks could get a driver's license. But after then, the 9/11 thing kind of changed that whole process, and Governor Pawlenty at the time decided to have his public safety director, commissioner, change that rule and not allow that to happen. So that was a rulemaking process. So if that was rulemaking process put that in place, I believe a rulemaking process can take that out. I don't see where the barrier is for that. So basically what the House position was is to take current law and put that in statute. And then if we were going to change it, instead of letting the governor and the staff do that, agencies do that, it would rely on legislators who are elected to do that instead of appointed. So that's the difference between it. I think we will see. I would prefer to actually give a pathway for the undocumented folks to actually get something like a driver's privilege card that wouldn't be used for anything else but driving. I think that would be a way to spring this thing loose. But Right now, I'm not quite sure how those negotiations are going because I don't sit on that conference committee, but I would hope that we do need to get this done because I know I had a nephew that was accepted to all the service academies and went out and they showed their driver's license to get into the Coast Guard Academy to tour it and they looked at it and said, you got something else? And just by chance they had, because I mentioned it to them, they did have their passports so they could go on that academy and tour it. But other than that, if they didn't have that, they wouldn't have got in.
Everybody needs an uncle like you, Jeff. Senator Clausen?
Well, I think, as I recall the debate on the floor of the Senate, we were more concerned about data privacy issues.
Yeah.
We had a lot of discussion on that and turning over information to the federal government, state government, and was that something that we really wanted to do. But it needs to be done. There's no question about that. I think it will get done. The undocumented issue in the Senate, we wanted a very clean bill. We didn't want to get into that issue at all, and that's the direction we went. We haven't talked about the extended license that we have, which is kind of an intermediate license where you can get on a domestic airplane with that. You can cross the border into Canada and Mexico with that. You cannot go on international flights. But that's another option for people that we have. I think the biggest issue there was it's not readily available for everyone in the state. You had to go to certain stations to get that license, and then there's an additional fee with it. But that was another issue that was discussed as part of this bigger discussion. It makes a lot of sense, though, to have some type of a document that people have indicating that they passed a driver's test, whether an undocumented citizen or not, and also that they have insurance. I mean, those are a couple of things that are pretty critical.
You know, when people talk about that enhanced ID, I think is what it's called, if I remember right, but that enhanced ID, when they talk about security, people don't realize that enhanced ID has a chip in it, that RFID chip, and that RFID chip can be read. If you've got a reader, they can read that RFID chip from across the room without you taking it out of your wallet or your purse. So when you talk about data privacy, that is an issue. Now, your passport has that chip in it also. The Real ID does not have that chip. So there's a big difference in between. When you're talking about data privacy, people need to be aware just exactly what's out there and how it works.